Welcome back everyone, Stuart here with Gemini's Game Collection. Today I'll be doing the review for Oxenfree, a new independent game designed by Night School Studios, which originally debuted in January 15th of this year, 2016, for Xbox One, Microsoft Windows, and OS X, and again in March for PlayStation 4. The game was designed by former employees of Telltale Games and Disney Studios. So right off the bat, you'll know that this game is high quality made from the get-go. Now the game does come with 5 different endings. I made sure to make this review without any spoilers. For those of you who are interested in looking for new indie games to play for the summer, I highly recommend this. But in the meantime, why don't we look at the review and see for ourselves if this is a good fit for us. Let's begin, shall we? Oxenfree is a spooky adventure game developed and published by Night School Studio. The game follows 5 teenagers heading to an overnight party that takes place on an abandoned island called Edward's Island. While mostly everyone on the island is having fun, playing games such as Truth or Dare, or just having conversation, we learn more on the nature of the characters and the game's protagonist, Alex, who accidentally opens a supernatural rift, waking some ominous beings in the process. Now, Alex has to tame the supernatural force that haunt the island, save her friends, and find a way off the island, all while learning the truth about what actually happened on Edward's Island. Oxenfree's characters are in constant conversation with other members of the group. As Alex, you are given very little time to respond to many of the comments and questions posed to her by her friends, much like real-life chatting and conversations. Topics and discussions bounce fairly quick from character to character, so if you don't participate in the discussion in time, the conversation will move on without you. Now, if you do chime in the middle of a discussion or cut into someone else's sentence, the interruption will change the flow of the conversation, possibly opening up new choices to make. By the way, not responding or saying anything to the characters will be noticed, so they'll react to that and possibly move on without you, affecting the direction of the storyline. And because of this, players will feel the urge to participate and respond to the choices given, as opposed to feeling obligated or cornered into making a dead-end decision. It's important to take note that Night School Studio consists of former Telltale employees, so the similarity of the dialogue may come from that background, yet it is a lot more detailed and refined than that. While the participation in the dialogue and conversations have a basis in realism, this can be a bit frustrating. There are no pauses here, and since you don't get a lot of time to decide on how you want to respond or what you want to say to whom, much like other titles before this, it actually works for Oxenfree, and that's a good thing. The way their conversations feel like real-life human conversations anyone can have. What really helps with the game's storyline is the good writing and the amazing voiceover performances. You'll notice the characters in dialogue stutter, stammer, have stumped expressions. They go off on tangents and even have incomplete sentences, all very much emulating realistic human conversational habits. This character feature could have been easily overlooked in any other game, but for Oxenfree, providing this kind of depth actually makes it work. While the horror elements are what grant Oxenfree its narrative urgency, its core fundament is balancing the relationship that Alex has with her 5 cast members, and to try to discover who she really is as a person. I found myself worrying about the perception the other members had of me. Should I have told them what I really felt? Should I have gone with the person to look for a way out? Should I have had that beer? Let's keep in mind also that the story doesn't revolve entirely around Alex. Other characters had things going on like grudges, longing for lost loved ones, and even secret crushes. You will come to rely on a tool Alex has in her possession, a radio, which will act as a key and a guide. Now granted, this radio does feel creepy as you thumb through the eerie ghost frequencies. After all, you never really know what you're tapping into in Oxenfree. You might end up listening to an old radio show or listen to a ragtime tune, yet it's all unnerving when hearing these stations out of context. Oxenfree intelligently taps into the reason why hyper-connected devices such as cell phones stop working on Edward's Island. Radios have an antiquated mystique that sometimes feels lost in the age of mobile devices. You'd think it would be annoying going through each radio frequency one by one, trying to find a specific one to unlock something in the game, and surprisingly it isn't. Thankfully, Oxenfree doesn't throw that many puzzles of its kind at the players. Now, the feature that has this reviewer very drawn to the game. Oxenfree's story alternates between several paths and outcomes depending on the choices you make, and it's very possible to get one of 5 different endings. Each time you finish a story, a new element of suspense will be added depending on the choices made in the previous playthrough. When I finished my first playthrough, I was already thinking on my second run and what choices I'd be making to see its outcome, to see what new mysteries get discovered or solved, and even find out the other cast members' reactions to different responses. With all this said and done, I would give Oxenfree a 4.5 out of 5. Its haunting, mysterious, branching story, along with great artistry and amazing writing with wonderful voiceover performances, is a breath of fresh air. The game would only take anyone a few hours to complete, but with so many possible outcomes to the story and Easter eggs, Oxenfree can last a long time, so the replay value here is very well thought out. You'll have your time's worth here. You'll have an option to always come back to Edward's Island and discover new mysteries and endings. I personally recommend this title. So there you have it, everyone. Oxenfree. Let me know what your thoughts are on the review. If you've played the game, please give us your feedback on it. What you liked, what you didn't like about the game. If there are 5 different endings. So if you're looking for a game that's original in storytelling, a new method of play, a new method of interacting with the player himself, this is something I highly recommend. As always, guys, please like and subscribe. It'll go a long way towards the channel. And as always, good gaming.